Hello students, Nehal once more. Today we're going to be starting with the next unit entitled Language Assessment of Language Teaching. Okay, and under this comes three areas: assessment, measurement, and evaluation. First, the concepts. Assessment. Assessment, it's a way to collect information, to gather information for certain objectives. And in the teaching learning process, the objective is primarily to see whether certain learning objective has been achieved or not, or it is to judge something, to judge the students achievement, like whether they have truly developed that particular skill or not. For that purpose, when we are collecting information, that's called assessment. For example, let's say if I want to know whether my students writing skill has developed or not, for that what do I have to do? I need to give them something to write. Let's say write an essay on so and so topic, so they will be writing, and the answer script that they will be providing me with, that is the data, actually that is the information based on which I'm going to be evaluating them to see whether the writing skill is developed or not. So that is one purpose of assessment. Another purpose of assessment can be to decide whether it actually helps us to make certain decisions. For example, do I need to change my teaching method, or is remedial teaching needed? For this, again, data is needed. For example, if I see that in a class test the students have poorly performed, that means remedial teaching is needed. So that class test is providing me with the data. So that class test is the assessment itself. And the information that we are talking about can come in both ways, not just in written test forms, but also in form of interviews. I'm talking with my students, and based on that I'm deciding whether the speaking skill is developed or not. So through interviews I'm collecting data for a speaking skill. So that's assessment, gathering information. Measurement is to assign number to achievement. For example, actually not just achievement, anything, any phenomena to which we are assigning a figure, a number, in order to compare, that is called measurement. In education, in the teaching learning process, measurement actually means to assign a number to learners achievement, which comes in forms of scores and marks. Okay, in general measurement, let's say if I say ki Akhil is taller than Vikas, this I am saying based on the measurement of height. Akhil, let's say, is 6 feet and Vikas is 5 feet. So I'm assigning number to their height, and based on that I'm making the judgment that Akhil is taller than Vikas. In education, similarly, we assign numbers. For example, if I say that Vikas has performed in English language better than Rahul, that means Vikas's score is more than Rahul. Okay, let's say Vikas has scored 80 and Rahul has scored 50. So I'm assigning numbers to that achievement, and based on that I'm evaluating them. So that's what measurement is, assigning numbers. Evaluation, it actually is done in after data has been collected through the process of assessment and measurement. Okay, evaluation is nothing but to analyze something, to see whether the learning objective has been achieved or not. Unlike assessment, in assessment also I was saying the same thing, but for assessment it is to collect the data. Okay, and based on that data, when we are deciding whether the learning objective has been met or not, certain skill has at all developed or not, so that process is the evaluation part. What do we do with the collected data that we had collected to the process of assessment? We evaluate that data. Okay, so evaluation is a process by which we judge something. In the education world, what are we judging? Whether see if the learner has truly been educated or not in the certain area, meaning the learning objective has been achieved or not. And it can come in both quantitative and qualitative way. Quantitative meaning when the assessment and comes in the form of numbers, scores, marks. Let's say achievement tests, class tests or the board exam, university exams, these come in form of numbers. This gives you scores, this gives you marks. Based on that you decide whether the student has performed well or not. So that's quantitative evaluation. But sometimes we have got interviews, job interviews, or let's say even oral tests that we have, or the impromptu speeches that we are made to give, and based on that we decide whether the students let's say speaking skill is developed or not. So that's qualitative evaluation, when numbers are not involved but simple observation helps us to decide whether the learning objective has been achieved or not. So quantitative evaluation and qualitative evaluation. Now there is another type of evaluation, quantitative and qualitative evaluation. This is basically based on how the assessment is being done. Is it through scores or marks, or is it through interviews and observations? So based on assessment, when we are dividing evaluation, then you've got two, quantitative and qualitative. But when you're deciding evaluation on the grounds of purpose, why am I evaluating, then you have got four types of evaluation. First is diagnostic. Diagnostic evaluation, it is basically to find learners difficulty in the learning area. For example, my learner is facing reading problem. Despite repeated practice, is making the same pronunciation error, the frequency is the fluency is not there. So that's a problem area of the learner. When I am evaluating, can be qualitative or quantitative, to find out the reason behind the difficulty, then that becomes a diagnostic evaluation. Okay. Next is placement evaluation. This is to see whether the learner or the individual has got a particular skill needed to join a particular profession or a particular course. It is basically the entrance exams that we appear for. For example, colleges these days, they conduct entrance exam. You need to appear for an exam, and if you qualify that exam, only then can you be enrolled for graduation or undergraduation courses. So that is placement evaluation. Or the NET, TET and NEET exams that we appear for, these are placement evaluation. NET, for example, national eligibility test, decides whether you're qualified enough to be an assistant professor or not. Teacher eligibility test decides whether you're qualified enough to be a teacher or not. That means whether you've got that required skill needed to join that particular profession. That's placement evaluation. Okay. Formative evaluation is to see whether learning progress is taking place or not. Like this, is the student at all learning, or is just simply attending class for nothing? So for that, formative evaluation is needed, and this comes in the form of class tests, surprise tests. A class test, let's say I've given them on voices to see whether they have learned active and passive voice accurately or not. And if I see that no, they have not, then I need to change my teaching process, teach them active and passive voice in a different way. So that is the kind of evaluation that helps me to decide whether the progress in learning has taken place or not, the remedial teaching is needed or not. That's the formative evaluation. Summative evaluation, it is to see whether it is basically to assign grades, like which student is better than who. Like let's say 10 students are there, amongst them who has stood first or who has stood second, which basically takes place in the final exams. After the board exams is over, the class 10 and the 12th exam, we say that person has got star or 1 plus. Star basically means above 80 and 1 plus basically means 90. So there I'm grading my student, and the one who has stood first in the ICSE, the second in the ICSE exam. So grading, the evaluation that helps us in grading is called summative evaluation. And summative, from the very word summative, summing up, like when the entire syllabus has been completed, and the end, when you're conducting an evaluation to see whether they have achieved whatever is expected of them to achieve from that particular learning of that particular syllabus. It's called summative evaluation. It takes place at the end of any semester or any yearly exam. So that's summative evaluation. Relationship between the three. Bashman in 1990, he came up with this relationship. Okay, three circles you can see here: evaluation, test and measurement. And here actually I've not been able to complete the circles, the rings, the circumference actually. So hence I have marked them with these numbers: area 1, area 2, area 3, area 4 and area 5. Area 1 actually denotes the evaluation part only evaluation. Area 2 is evaluation and measurement. Area 3 is all the three actually: evaluation, test and measurement. Area 4 is test and measurement. Evaluation is not there. and area 5 is only measurement. What does this area denote? I've explained it in my next slide. Area 1, if you remember, which denoted only evaluation, it actually means qualitative evaluation, where no marks is involved, no score, because test is not there, measurement is not there. So that's qualitative evaluation, done to see whether the learning objective has been achieved or not. Area 2 is evaluation and measurement, no test. A non-test measure of evaluation. How does this happen without test? Let's say that based on teacher's observation, she ranks grades to the student. For example, let's say I've been teaching you for one semester, okay, for 6 months, and based on that, based on your class responses, your performances, your daily involvements, mentally I can decide who is better in my class. I can grade you accordingly. Who can be placed first and second, third, who is not performing that well. So based on my daily observation, I'm assigning numbers to you. I'm assigning first to one of you, second to another, third to another. So that is also a kind of measurement that has come up without conducting any test. So based on that, when I'm evaluating it, that's area 2, evaluation and measurement. Area 3 is very simple, where I'm making you appear for a test. Based on that, I'm getting your scores, and based on the scores, when I'm evaluating something, that's area 3. Now area 4 and 5, it does not involve the learning process. It has got nothing to do with the teaching learning process. It has got everything to do with the research area, because in area 4 and 5, if you notice, there is no evaluation. And if there is no evaluation, then it cannot be a part of the teaching learning process, because teaching learning process is incomplete without evaluation. So in area 4, it is measurement and test. Let's say I conduct a test to find certain score, but this score is not to evaluate, but to discover something, to find something out. For example, I've given a proficiency test to a group of school teachers. I don't have the right to evaluate school teachers. They are reputed professionals, so I cannot evaluate them. But what can I do? By giving them this proficiency test, I can discover for myself, that to see whether their language skill is adequate or not. For example, I make them speak on a particular topic for, let's say, 5 minutes. I request them to speak, rather, can you deliver a 2-minute speech on this so and so topic, and they do. Based on that, I'm deciding whether their speaking skill is adequate or not. So my finding out whether the speaking skill is adequate is not to evaluate them, is not to judge them, something which I would do with y'all, because you're my students. I'm taking a proficiency test on them to see, just to find out how their language skills is. Based on that, I can write a report. Maybe because I need it for my research purpose. Let's say I'm conducting a research on the proficiency level of teachers, English language teachers of West Bengal. When my purpose is research, not evaluation, and based on that, I've prepared a test for them. That is area 4. Okay. Area 5 is where once more I need scores, I need numbers for my research, but it does not involve any test. For example, I prepared a questionnaire, and it is based on Likert scale. You remember Likert scale? I explained it in class. And the Likert scale will give me scores, right? For example, against one question, you have got 5 responses. So let's say out of 10, 2 gives me strongly agree, and 8 gives me a strongly disagree. So it's a number. Based on that, I can formulate an opinion. I can analyze it. And based on that, I can do my research activities. So area 1, 2, 3, it has got to do with the learning process, the teaching learning process. Area 4 and 5 deals with the research area. So that's it. This is the basics which you need to know for assessment, measurement and evaluation. And any problem, do call me up, and I'll try to bring up my next video as soon as possible. Till then, take care and thank you.